और लग के कर दिखाने में, मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी, और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है, वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकोर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा ही। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा, ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं।
Good afternoon, friends. A very warm welcome to our Business Opportunity Over Chai. And this special edition, Business Opportunity Over Chai, will help you to understand the greatest business opportunities that we Franchise India specially brings for you. Business Opportunity Over Chai presented by management team of Franchise India, Mr. Gaurav Maria, Chairman at Franchise India Group, and Ms. Sonia Chaudhary, MD at Franchise India Brands Limited. Every day, 12 o'clock, we launch a new brand to explore new business opportunities. Today, we have invited world's leading academic publisher and assessment organization since 1534, Cambridge. Cambridge is inviting existing study abroad IELTS centers and education enthusiasts for its learning partner. As a world-leading education publisher, they provide educational material, resources, and services to teachers and learners from age 3 to 19 in over 160 countries. Their three publishing groups are educational resources for schools, academic university level research, and teaching material, and finally, English language learning materials. Cambridge has helped millions of people worldwide unlock their potential to their qualification, assessment, and academic publication. To know more about this business opportunity, we have invited the team of Cambridge, Mr. Ajay Tyagi, TGM. But before inviting them over the stage, I would like to hand over the stage to Ms. Sonia Chaudhary. Over to you. Okay, I think we lost her in between during due to internet problems. So, Ajay ji, I would like to hand over the stage to you. You can start how you started this journey, and then we can start with the PPT presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone.
We cannot see you, Ajay ji. You can please open up your camera.
I hope my screen is visible and I'm audible to everyone. Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Ajay Tyagi. I represent Cambridge University Press and Assessment, South Asia. It's a part of Cambridge University. We would like to share this opportunity to all the partners who are expected to get into the business of learning for IELTS and OET. I will share my PPT with you. Make your life better and take a decision why this opportunity is a very useful and important opportunity for everyone. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is. We can go on full screen. Right. Go ahead.
Great. So we are part of Cambridge University. We represent their business side And our core responsibility is to generate revenue for university. And the reason to generate this revenue is university grant a lot of scholarships. They do a lot of research. So for that, we require this profitable business to lead the university. There are three verticals with Cambridge University Press and Assessment in India. One is about the publication, where we do a lot of publication for every age group. The second vertical is for international education. So I hope you have heard about Cambridge schools. So we have close to 600 schools in India. Then we have English language resources for Indian market. Founded in 1534, one of the oldest business house in the world, one of the premium university in the world. We are close to 3,000 plus employees across 50 locations. And we have a lot of accolades in terms of Nobel Prizes, a lot of research. So Cambridge as an institution has developed a lot of things in the last 500-600 years. Now, English is a primary core area for us where we want to focus on developing learning and resources for English language. And for that, we have heavily invested on digital resources also. So we have a dictionary where 50 million unique users, April 2020, and 100,000 learners for English grammar and language. So a lot of effort we have done in terms of improvising the content for digital resource. World is connected now, world is global and local. So every resource should be available to every learner and researcher who's looking to update and learn about English. IELTS. So IELTS is one of the most important products for Indian market. If you are aware, there are more than 1.5 million test takers in India. India is the fastest growing market for IELTS. So for anybody who's looking for international mobility, for studies or for PR, for immigration, one of the best options available with them is IELTS. It's an exam which assesses your English language skill on the band level from 1 to 9 on CFR level. And on the basis of your assessment, you get a report, and you can apply for universities, you can apply for colleges, and you can apply for immigration also. It's jointly owned by British Council and IDP. And across the globe, there are 50 million test takers, approximately 50 lakh test takers, and in India it is 15 lakh. So it's a very huge market, highly unorganized market. So there are a lot of opportunities with us, with IELTS market. So there is some estimation, this learning market is close to 1,000 crore of revenue generating market every year. It is growing at the rate of 20%, more than 20%. And the reason is because a lot of students are looking to go abroad. They want to learn, they want to build their skill, and then they want to assess their skill with IELTS exam, and they want to go abroad. Same with the immigration. So there are some data which was shared in Parliament some time back that 750,000 students have taken international program to study abroad. So it's a huge opportunity for us, for anyone who's into learning, who's into education, who's into study abroad. It's a highly lucrative market right now. There's a growth, there is a wave right now. A lot of students want to go abroad. We're expecting a good number in the next 3-4 years. Why we are differentiated? We are the only one which prepares the official material for IELTS. A lot of learning and resources, a lot of research, because 5 million test takers across the globe. So a lot of learnings we have in terms of how learner behave, what kind of content it is required, what kind of learning outcome is required, what is the pathway to learn. There are a lot of resources available for IELTS learning, more than 162 titles. So at band level, at each skill level. So if you want to improve your reading, there is certain content available. If you want to improve your writing, there's certain content available. And it's the largest content in the world, I think nobody has this kind of content available. One of the top selling product is like official IELTS guide, which is OCGI. It's very popular among students. What are the challenges in the market? This market is highly unorganized. So more than 80% or 75% market is highly unorganized. It is run by small partners, small agents, a standalone institute. There is no uniformity also. So the content is freely available. Anybody who knows English, they try to become an IELTS trainer. There is no benchmark also available in the market. We are the only one which can certify, which can help in terms of developing the pedagogy, developing the content. And there is a diverse background level of English across India. So an English learning, understanding from Punjab market would be different from Tamil Nadu market. So different pedagogy we have in India, different kind of learning skills we have, and different accents we have. So there is no benchmark, and diversification actually is very difficult to manage also. What are the opportunities for us? Cambridge Learning Partnership Program work on 4 aspects. One is we can give you a structured approach, how to teach, how to manage your content. We can provide you the official content, very authentic, updated, regular updated content, which is helpful for learner. Pedagogy expertise, we know how to teach, what are the methodologies to teach, and we can train the trainer, we can set the benchmark, we can do academic deliveries, and these are the things which are only available with us. It is very difficult to find with someone else because we are the owner, we created this exam. Cambridge Learning Partner Program. So this is the first kind of program Cambridge Press and Assessment India has launched in India. And there was a lot of feedback from the market that just the books will not work, content will not work. You need to provide a certain platform, certain areas of support where we can grow in the market, where we can differentiate in the market. So that's we started the Cambridge Learning Partner Program. It's a 1-year-old program. We have some good success in the market. We have quite double-digit centers in India now. This program earlier was in a closed domain, only available for our internal partners. Now this year, from today, we are launching this for open market. What are the advantages? You become an authorized Cambridge Learning Partner. You get a brand, you get a shield, and you get everything which is required to run a center. You get proven pedagogy, you get official content. We train the teacher, we certify the teacher, they are suitable and appropriate to teach IELTS. We provide all the resources required digitally and physically. For example, learning management system, which can help you in terms of managing your institute, giving a blended learning, managing the attendance, managing the students, teachers, your center, everything can be managed by this learning management system. Of course, blended learning is required these days. So a significant investment we have done in this management system where all kinds of resources are also available through digital mode. And we do a lot of regular workshop with our master trainers and international master trainers. And these trainers are trained and certified by Cambridge, where they take regular workshop digitally and physically both. And marketing and sales support, any kind of national campaign, any kind of national sales support and marketing support with creatives, with our marketing team, we can help you in terms of building a local market for this very niche and good growing market. So now to become a Cambridge Learning Partner Program, there are certain prerequisites required. And so what we expect is that you should have a physical infrastructure, a physical institute, preferably on a ground floor in a good market area where it is accessible and visible to the learner. When I say learner, a student who's looking to get his skill updated and who can appear for IELTS test. Typically, institute should have at least 1,500 to 2,000 square feet of area, which is a carpet area. Number of classroom 2 to 3. Average sitting capacity between 20 to 30, Some cabin for counseling, minimum 2 is good to have, a center manager room, and manpower to run this institute. So a center manager, 2 counselor, 2 faculty, a business development manager. And if you are the owner, if you are leading this business, you can be a manager also. The agreement for this Cambridge Learning Partner Program is for 3 years. Now there is certain cost involved to be part of this program. You have to pay association fee. So it is not franchising, it is a partnership model. Just to be cautious on that, we don't do franchising. We want to be a partner with the individual or a company where they want to lead this business. Those who are looking for long-term growth, those who are looking to create a niche in the market. So 10 lakh rupees as association fee for 3 years. It is a renewable after 3 years, a 50% post 3 years. Then there's a cost of royalty we call in franchising. So we call a subscription fee of 20% plus a content cost, which is 10%. And once we assess the partner, the site, we can go for enrollment with this program. Now, there are 2 types of opportunities we are looking at. So there are 2 segments. One is if you are already in study abroad, if you are all into IELTS learning, it's a plug and play model for you. You can immediately start post-assessment and audit of your company and your premise. We can plug and play. We can give you all the required support to build this center. And if you are an entrepreneur or an investor or a startup who wants to get into this space, then certain cost is required as a capital investment between 20 to 30 lakh rupees for interiors, for other capex requirement. These details can be discussed, post your interest. The Franchise India team can lead on this. They can help you in terms of what are the financial, what are the projection, what kind of market we are looking at, which are cities we are looking at. And it's a good go-to-market kind of a project and very much in demand. So 1.5 million test takers, 750,000 students going abroad. It's a huge opportunity for everyone. How's the process? We expect to sign an NDA, post of informal discussion. Then we expect you to share an application form with a market survey, with some financial and business projection. Once it's assessed, and then we can go for an LOI, a center setup and audit. We support you in terms of building the center, in terms of developing how to finalize a site, how to do the interior. We can help you. There are SOP manuals available for each kind of requirement. Then we do an agreement and we launch a center on the agreed date and go to the market for the learners. This is my last slide. I hope I'm able to share Cambridge Learning Partner Program with you. For any question, please, you can share in the chat box. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ajay-ji, and this was a wonderful presentation. And friends, my request to all of you would be, there are hands that I see that are being raised. My request to all of you would be to put your questions in the Q&A box. Please write them down. And I'll take all your questions live. If you can also mention your interest with your profile and your city, that would in fact help us in understanding also your profile. Now, just to give a quick recap and for people who might have also joined in late. Thank you so much again, Ajay-ji, for putting this presentation. Friends, Mr. Ajay Tyagi is the CEO of the company, and he's been through a very long and very exciting journey for more than 2 odd decades, who's actually helped build off brands in the Indian market, establishing their process across, I would say, sales, marketing, and overall operations. And he is leading the entire partnership with Cambridge. We're looking at today inviting partners, and we call it Cambridge Learning Partners. And like Ajay-ji mentioned, they're not looking at franchisees, but these are learning partners who are invited across the country. Now, if you look at Cambridge, Cambridge is a very revered, iconic name, a name that was founded in 34, in fact. And the university press is also the oldest media business in the world and the oldest university press, known. The opportunity here we're talking about is for learning centers, and the biggest focus, as we saw also in the presentation, is a market which is IELTS, and India is the largest IELTS market globally, by volume, and approximately about 4.5 million, test takers every year are taking these tests. This is the most popular English test for higher education and also global migration. Cambridge is also the co-owner of IELTS jointly with British Council and IDP that we also saw. Now, the opportunity in India is very big, which is close to $5 billion as an industry, where demand today for a study abroad, I would say even upskilling retail businesses, the requirement is enormous. And the total addressable market in India, I would like to give you a background because, I see sometimes questions on what my target audience would be. So the market globally is sliced into 3 segments, which is B2C, B2B, and also B2G. While B2C forms the biggest segment in the country, which is almost about 85%, and that is also the segment for us to perhaps focus for all our partners for Cambridge Learning Centers. And the focus for B2C primarily is, sectors which are into, I would say, retail, hospitality, ITES, where the demand and the will to add value to the sector-based skills acquired by the individuals to become more employable is very, very high. So that is a segment we are actually catering to. Now, to also understand the problem solving, if you look at the potential that we in fact also saw in the presentation, the potential and the opportunity for English language training in the country is substantial. It is enormous. While there are many players within domestic, international companies in this space, but there's still a huge gap because the quality level which most of the players are operating is very, very low, right? So ELT market comes under skill development, and it forms part of our unregulated market in the country. So no regulatory guidelines are laid down by the government for setting up a ELT center. And this also means there is no regulation regarding minimum quality standards in terms of the faculty which is teaching, and most importantly, content, the framework of the content, the curriculum being followed, the certification levels, infrastructure, right? So somebody who can compete on these, who's not able to compete on these parameters, they end up providing services which are commoditized, right? Cheaper services. So this is a differentiator which Cambridge actually brings in. And also, from a consumer perspective, I believe, there is an increasing need also which is being felt for setting up a common globally acceptable standard, an assessment protocol, creating common set of competencies, for example, teacher qualification, quality, course material, and most important, while the course material is one parameter, but even the quality of delivery is something which is questionable in most of the centers in the country. So this is where Cambridge comes in. The opportunity is across India, barring 2 big states where Cambridge already has exclusive partnerships, which is Gujarat and Punjab, including Tri-City, Chandigarh Tri-City. So the learning partner of Cambridge will be recognized as an authorized partner. He will also get access to the entire techniques, the SOPs, the learning management system of the company, and also the access to the proven pedagogy which Cambridge is offering. Overall, if we look at the opportunity, we have split the opportunity format, in fact, between as tier 1, 2, and 3. The only difference is the franchise fee, where for tier 1, the franchise fees is 10 lakhs, tier 2 is 5 lakhs, and tier 3 is a 3 lakh fee. While the infrastructure requirement more or less in all these tiers would remain the same, and which would be under 20 to 25 lakhs, depending on which tier you're opening. And there are 2 set of profiles where, the target profile of our partners is segregated. One could be new entrepreneur who's opening or coming forward as the very first time, and second is somebody who's already into some kind of complementing businesses, maybe immigration, study abroad, like Ajay ji mentioned, and anyone who has any kind of I would say any form of learning intervention if any partner currently is involved in. So that's the opportunity we are looking at. So Ajay ji, I'll start with my first question. We've talked about the investment overall. So apart from the franchise fee component, if you want to give also a little understanding on the kind of infrastructure which is needed, maybe typical area which is also required, and what broadly would become maybe the investment outside the franchise fee, maybe the broad macro understanding on where this capex would be deployed, if that can be shared with our friends.
Thank you very much, Sonia. So other than the fee, if you are already a study partner who is into study abroad or IELTS training, your capital expenditure is very low because the ready infrastructures are already available. So you just need to spend, or there's a capital expenditure on the brand part, some refurbishment and some upkeep. You can immediately go live with the infrastructure. If you are a new entrepreneur, you want to set up a new center, then approximately 15 to 20 lakh rupees is required to set up a center. Again, between 1,500 to 2,000 square feet of a center in a good commercial area where visibility and availability to the learner is there. Generally, typically in all the markets, most of these centers for learning are in the same area, in same location. And in terms of other commercial, other than fee, we are charging a subscription fee of 20% plus 10% for the content. So approximately 30% cost for the whatever typical fees you will get, your 30% has to be shelled out to the Cambridge. I hope I am able to answer.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, Ajay. Now coming, very broadly, I see a lot of questions I was going through. Friends, I'll take all your questions, and some of you have also mentioned, that you need more information. And I understand that we cannot actually extend the webinar, but we are happy to take any questions one-to-one. Anybody who wants to meet or come for a subsequent call post the webinar, we'll be happy to take that with Ajay based on the mutual time that we fix. But I like to say, friends, our Franchise India teams across India is working on the project, and I have dedicated team members across most of the cities. I see some cities which are also mentioned. So across cities, we have our teams who can give you the sort of information that you need. But before I start taking your questions, keep writing in. If you want to share your profile, also mention your city also. I'll be happy to even inform if these cities currently are available, not available. We find an opportunity there. So Ajay, when we talk about unit economics, if you want to broadly maybe dissect typical expenses, from the faculty point of view, from the locations, point of view, what kind of typical locations or spots within the cities are we looking at? One, and second, on the expenses per se at the center level. So on an average, what kind of rentals one should consider? What kind of royalties are we looking at? I think that was one of the questions I also saw. And any other fixed expenses which a franchisee needs to consider. And if you're also able to relate that with the number of students, ideally a center, and if you can talk about maybe 100% efficiency at a 70% efficiency, and how a center progresses maybe from maybe a month one to maybe a 6 month or, by the end of the year. If certain understanding on those guidelines can also be shared with our friends.
Okay. So IELTS is a funnel for a study abroad. So when I say funnel, anybody who's looking to go study abroad, they have to go for IELTS exam. Now, typically, on average, most of our partners, their individual center is contributing close to 1,000 students in a year. Out of 1,000 students, they are able to process 400 applications in a year with study abroad. So the higher margin lies in the study abroad application. But to get that study abroad application processing, you require IELTS learner because it's a huge market. Everybody's looking, every student is looking to get assessed, get the skill developed, and appear for this exam. Now, a typical center, the current centers we have, a rental between 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees per month. That is the average rental we have seen in the last 1 year. Plus a operation expense for the teachers, basically the trainers, manager, counselors, which is close to 40% of your total OPEX. And the kind of fees you can charge, so average fees per month is 10,000 rupees across India. That's the benchmark fees. Certain markets, we have some discounted fees like 8,000, 7,000 per month. And this program goes from 1 month to 6 months. Typically, 1 month fees is 10,000 rupees, a 6 month fees is 60,000 rupees fee. So great opportunity in terms of developing a cash flow, a positive cash flow. On average, 20 to 25% is your return on investment yearly, plus your larger margin lies on your study abroad application. So just IELTS will not be helpful for you, but you require an extension service. Plus, there are a lot of other services an agent provide. Other than IELTS, there are some other opportunities also. So we have OET. One of the exam we also is the OET, other occupational test, which is for healthcare workers. Now, anybody who's a doctor, who's a nurse, who is a healthcare professional, they have to appear for that. And this is the only exam available in the world.
Correct.
So almost 1 lakh students appear for this exam in India. Typically, this exam costs to 36,000 rupees approximately, where IELTS costs around 17,000 approximately. The passing rate is very, very low. So the preparation also requires a lot of time. The third kind of opportunity you have for the regular English language. So in fact, domestic employability market is huge also. Anybody who's looking for a multinational company or a domestic company employability, they look for an English certification. You can also run this kind of certification. But the larger market right now we want to cater is the IELTS market.
Ajay, you talked about, the cost of examination. Is that something which also be catered by the Cambridge Learning Partner?
No. So the exam is conducted by RDP. They are the operation part and they are one of the co-owner. So you pay directly to the IDP to register for the exam. And for OET, you directly go to the OET exam body.
Sure. And there is no commission structure for the
no, there is no
partners.
commission structure available for this.
Wanted that to be clarified. I'll quickly take some questions because I see a lot of questions which have come in. So I'll take one question from, so I only have your initials. By MM says there are 3 parameters. If we talk about on an average, what one center can make in terms of, and this is something I also asked you, Ajay. So, typical revenue, and I'm sure maybe the first month is not a benchmark. So on a parameter of, he says good, great, very good, or maybe, not so good, how much money can be made monthly and broadly what it translates to in terms of annual revenue from a center?
So in terms of revenue, typically center can generate close to, if you are getting 600 students in a year, which is the base minimum we expect, you can easily generate a revenue of 40-45 lakh rupees in a year, which is bare minimum. And an average profit, if I take a gross profit of 20-25%, close to 10 lakh rupees of profit is very much easily available. But the larger margin, which I'm again restating, is in the study abroad business, where your margin are 10x than the IELTS. And without IELTS funnel, you cannot have that kind of extension service to the student. So it's a good combination product where you have the IELTS Learning Center and you are also into study abroad. And there are many platforms right available. If you are not into study abroad, if you're new to this business, you can participate with the platforms which are helping the agents to process the application form. And very large sum of commission we generally get through these platforms.
I have now Professor Ankur Shah from Bombay. He says already have an education center, but the area is 600 square feet. Is that something which can be considered for an opportunity like this?
No, specifically for Mumbai, I can understand there is an area constraint in certain markets. If it's a good visibility, good availability and accessibility to the learners, we can assess and we can consider, but it's not a constraint for Mumbai market specifically, where area is a huge issue there.
I see a question from Raj Pandey. He says, is it limited only to IELTS or few more courses, for example, on learning, which are also provided?
I think we already answered this. So you can have OET, you can have regular English and employability. There are various courses you can run with this program.
I see Ronak Guha from Kolkata. He's an entrepreneur with interest in education. There's already a British Council in Kolkata, which is heavily into training for IELTS. How do we differentiate and what are the different kind of locations, neighborhood ideal for setting up a training center? And he also talks about the age group of students to be targeted.
So these days, I will start with third question, which is the age profile. So every parent now, those who are looking for study abroad, they start their journey of learning from 10th onwards. They start looking for universities, colleges, they start preparing for IELTS. So age starts from 10th. Generally, those who pass the 12th exam, they immediately appear for IELTS exam. Now, for that, they require certain preparation. So 3 to 6 months of pathway time for learning. Then we have postgraduates, PhDs, and other various. And then there's a immigration, international mobility immigration segment, which is, there is no upper limit for the age, but there is a lower limit as per the countries. For the second question, about the neighborhood and location. So any popular area where most of the IELTS institutes are there, which are accessible to the learners. Generally, the high street market, commercial areas are good for locations. For Kolkata specifically, Parks View Street is good to go, or Salt Lake area is a good market to go. So I have limited understanding about Calcutta, but I can still share some of the area. And British Council, it's a part of us. So again, their core area is not teaching the IELTS. It's one of the product where they focus. And at the end of the day, any kind of training, we are the only one which help them in terms of building the pedagogy, the training, and the content. They are the delivery partners. They have a good setup. So yes, it is accessible, but limitation is that they are only available on certain areas. And so accessibility is one of the constraints. But I think British Council has a good platform to learn also.
And I have a question which I see on the average royalties which are charged, and also the renewal after 3 years, how much money can be made as a profit. I think STEM covered that, but Rajesh, maybe you can touch upon the royalty.
So 20% is the total royalty we will be, and we don't call it royalty, we call it subscription fee, being we are not into franchising. So it's a subscription 20%. We charge the average revenue we will be generating, except the content cost. So just to give an example, if a course for 1 month is 10,000 rupees, out of which 1,000 rupees will go to the content part. Out of 10,000, the 9,000 remaining will be charged for royalty. So 1,800 rupees for royalty. That is the maths I can help you with the one example.
Right. And I also see a relevant question because we are focusing on the IELTS part of the business. He's asking if we can also enroll students for general English learning.
Exactly. So as I mentioned, IELTS, OET, English, and employability, 4 areas you can work on, but it takes time to develop this market. The immediate low-hanging fruit for you is the IELTS and OET. And IELTS is everywhere. OET has specific market, and general English is a huge business. The margins and the kind of customer you get is a little different than IELTS, and it's a huge market also, good potential. So as per the market, you can always grow with us, but we have all the resources and required support for the general English also.
Also, with respect to some information, Srinivashi from Hyderabad, we'll be able to share you, like I mentioned. Also, the entire planning in terms of the ROI CAPEX is something that we should be able to share with you. I see a question, Ajay, from one of our viewers, Mr. Amrish Chaudhary from Faridabad, very close to our office, on the break-even time, typically for a business like this, and what would it take for them to get the return on the investment which is needed?
So if you are already in a study abroad business, it will not take much time. My assumption is not more than 18 months to get a break-even. But if you are not into study abroad, then 24 months, I think 2 years is a good time to get a break-even.
And I see a question on the faculty also, Hajaji. Is there a criteria for teachers in terms of their qualification one and typical salaries for teachers? Would these be part-time, full-time? Because most of the courses are typically done in the evening. So I think that was one question which I've kind of clubbed together with others.
So it's a very difficult answer to share that there's no benchmark of salaries in the market. There are indifferent salaries, so ranging from 10,000 goes up to 2 lakh rupees a month, depending upon the kind of market you are catering, depending the kind of market you are in. And for the assessment part, we prefer someone who's good in English, and we take an assessment of each and every faculty. Post that, we recommend that if you are at a level where we can train you, we can give you the pedagogy and methodology, you're good to go. Then we enroll with this is exclusively for partners, where we enroll them with our internal TTT program. They need to qualify that, they need to learn the skills, and then they get certified. But we expect someone who understands English at a basic level, at least a level where they are proficient in English.
Is there an education qualification, Ajay?
So there are certain certification available by Cambridge and other universities like CELTA or maybe an English language graduation or someone who's a regular English speaker can be also there, but there is no certain benchmark. But if it is somebody who's already graduated, understand the English, can write, speak, and read English.
I have a location which has come from Mr. Surya Tejaji from Andhra Pradesh. Anantapur is where he's asking if we can set up a center. And Suryaji, just to answer your second part, these would only be training centers. Examination centers is a partner IDP where the examinations are conducted. So these are only training centers.
And IDP is not giving any examination center. They operate their all centers their own. And they are very exclusive in nature. So you will not find any exam center run by any partner. It's only IDP who operate the centers. And yes, we can go for learning center in your area. It's a good market to go. Andhra is one of the top leading market right now for us.
I see a question from Maithili Gopi asking if there can also be students in school, kids who can be enrolled for these levels A1 to C1 obviously is very, very advanced though.
So we do have a lot of programs for K-12, which is kids basically, but we cannot run these programs in this center. It's a different market and there's a different channel for this. So it is directly managed by Cambridge for schools. And currently we are not open for any partnership in that program. The only partnership available is for IELTS and OET and in English, which is for higher education.
And Dheerajji is from Sirsa. He says he's already running an institute. Dheerajji, I don't know what kind of institute is this. You can share us details maybe offline, and which is to the tune of 3,600 square feet of space. And he wants to proceed ahead. Dheerajji, I'll request if we can set up a call offline to discuss and take this ahead. We'd like to have more information on the center.
Dheerajji, Sirsa is a very good market. In fact, it is growing at the rate than Bhatinda. I know a little bit about this market, so it's a very good market to have one center. And you can cater to Hanumangarh and other markets from Sirsa also.
I see a lot of questions, friends. I might not be able to pick up all the questions, but let me see the questions which might have not been covered. All right, I see interest from Bombay also. I'm a marketing and marketing professional with my own initiative for career guidance and coaching students for professional using psychometric based approach. Wonderful, Sanjeevji. Let us know if he can speak to you on the opportunity. While he's not running any center, I don't see that part of information. Rajaji, we'll get back to you. You've shared your details. We definitely would give all the information which is sought. Adityaji, I think we've answered the questions on the ROI of the project, and also your location you've mentioned is Hooghly and Howrah in West Bengal, where he's keen to consider. Okay, and I see a location, Hajaji, maybe quickly you can say yes or no. This is Uttarakhand, obviously Roorkee is the location.
So for Roorkee, I have some insight. So Roorkee, Saharanpur, Haridwar and Rishikesh, these are very good market. The only challenge in this market is the fee capacity is little low. So there are a lot of numbers, a lot of capacity is there, but the kind of fees you can generate is limited, but it's a good market to go. I think it's something we should not leave. Roorkee is a good market. And as far as installment is concerned, it is not possible. The rest you can look for some financial support from bank or other things.
Manish Basiji, you say you have an office of study overseas in West Delhi, but on 3rd floor with lift and enough parking, 3,000 square feet area on the main road with large frontage for branding. 3rd floor office, is that something that can be considered?
Yes, we can consider 3rd floor also. We have some centers with basement and 1st floor also. See, the idea is that your visibility and availability should be top notch. So if you're visible from the main area, main market, it is good to have a center like that. And we have a lot of centers with the entire unit with us. So 10,000 square feet or 12,000 square feet units from basement till 5th floor or 4th floor. So we can consider post that the visibility challenge should not be there.
Cool. Kamleshi, we are open for Chennai. Rajiv ji, you have shared your contact details. We'll get back to you. We also have Mr. Dheeraj Mittal. He's running a BPO center in Delhi, Dwarka, and we have an area of 2,500 square feet to be utilized. And we also have trainers available. So Dwarka is a important,
Yes, so in West Delhi, Tilaknagar, Rajouri, Dwarka, Vikaspuri, these are good market to go because a lot of people are interested to go abroad from these markets, especially school kids, students. So good to go. These markets are good to go. And especially for Chennai, I want to share that OIT is also good market in Chennai. A lot of nurses right now. We are doing one project with NSDC, Kerala, and especially Chennai. I found that very good market for OIT.
Metli, Chennai is open. You have an area of 3,000 square feet with the required infrastructure. Wonderful. So friends, I have gone through some of the questions that you have sent, and I'm sure some might require more discussion. I'm seeing hands are still raised. I'll request all of you will share a hotline number and also our email ID in the chat box, which you can reach out to. And during the course of this entire week, we'll solicit time from Mr. Ajay Tyagi, and also his team who can perhaps come on a call. But before we get on a call, we also have certain, the guidelines in terms of understanding your profile in detail. If you already have an infrastructure, we require some more details to understand where it is, what kind of education center are you currently running. That will help us in making our call or a meeting more productive. So we'll put the information in the chat box for you to look at. And also, Ajay, before we close, I'll request if there's a message that you want to give to all our viewers and also a lot of our friends who've joined us live on YouTube.
Thank you, Sonia. So my only message is that this particular industry is growing at the rate of, you cannot believe, next at least 3 to 5 years, this industry will lead. Everybody is looking to go study abroad, and for immigration, we can read the newspaper, we can do the Google research. It's a good to go market right now. And this is the way. If you ride this way, you will be at a certain number and a profitable venture for everyone. And thank you everyone to be participating in this webinar. I'm really thankful to everyone to join.
Thank you so much, Ajay. And friends, one more thing, because I always, whenever we do webinars, we receive a query for area franchisees, master franchisees. So Cambridge is not open for partnerships exclusively for any region. These are unit locations, and somebody who's looking at opening more centers than one, we can definitely have a discussion on that. And also, depending on the potential of the city, if the city is smaller, we might not appoint more than one partner in the city, because I see some inquiries coming from the same city. So do share us your profile for us to filter and get you on one-to-one connect with Mr. Ajay and his team. Thank you so much, Ajay, for being with us. And I thank all our friends for being with us on the webinar. And friends, we have all your coordinates with us. So all your inquiries, rest be assured, would be taken up by our teams who are handling the respective regions. Between today and tomorrow, everybody who's reached out to us or even registered, for the interest, our teams would reach out and cater to the inquiries and get you on a call or a meeting. And before I close, I'll request Harshika to kindly take over. Harshika.
Thank you, Sonia ma'am. Thank you, Ajay, for this wonderful presentation discussion about the brand Cambridge Learning Partner. Friends, for more details about the brand and to connect with directly with the Ajay, you can reach us on our hotline number 9717683838. You can also write us on feedback@franchiseindia.in. Don't forget, Franchise India brings its great iconic show on Pragati Maidan on 15-16 July, hall number 5. Save the dates, and for registration, you can reach us on our hotline number or visit our website www.franchiseindia.com. Here is some glimpses of this event. Do connect on our hotline number 9717683838. Thank you everyone for joining webinar.